There are only two events on Earth that can make billions of people stop what they're doing. One is the Olympics. The other is the FIFA World Cup. Every 4 years, countries celebrate. Fans travel across the world. Players become legends. And for 1 month, football takes over the planet. Or at least, that's what we're told. Because the strange part isn't what happens on the pitch, it's what happens behind it. Most people think the World Cup is the biggest football tournament in the world. They're right, but that's not what it's really built for. The real game starts long before the first whistle. And the winners aren't always the teams lifting the trophy. They're the ones counting the money. Here's where things get interesting. Think about the last World Cup you watched. You probably remember the goals, the celebrations, maybe even the penalty shootouts. But do you remember who sold the broadcasting rights? Who negotiated the sponsorship deals? Who controlled the ticket sales? Or who decided which country would host it? Probably not, because those aren't the stories that make the headlines. But they're the stories worth billions. Every World Cup creates an enormous financial machine. Broadcasters pay billions of dollars for the right to show the matches. Global brands compete for sponsorships. Airlines, hotels, restaurants, and tourism businesses prepare for years. Host countries build stadiums, airports, highways, and entire neighborhoods for 1 month of football. That sounds crazy, and in many cases, it is. Take Qatar. For the 2022 World Cup, estimates of total spending reached well over $200 billion when broader infrastructure projects were included. Not all of that money went directly toward football. Much of it funded roads, airports, rail systems, and urban development. Still, it's an extraordinary amount linked to a single tournament. That raises an obvious question. Why would any country spend so much? Because hosting the World Cup isn't just about football. It's about attention. For 1 month, the entire world watches your country. It's advertising on the biggest stage imaginable. Governments hope tourism will grow. Businesses hope investments will arrive. Leaders hope the event improves their country's image. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In fact, economists have studied World Cups for decades, and many have found that the promised economic boom often falls short. Some stadiums become empty after the tournament. Maintenance costs continue. The tourists leave. The bills don't. It's a little like buying the world's most expensive sports car, then realizing you can't afford the fuel. So why does it keep happening? Because economics isn't the only thing driving these decisions. Politics matters. National pride matters. Global influence matters. The World Cup is one of the few events capable of putting a country at the center of global attention overnight. That attention has value, even if it's difficult to measure. But here's where the story gets even bigger. The country hosting the tournament isn't necessarily the biggest winner. FIFA is. Unlike national teams, FIFA doesn't have to build stadiums. It doesn't pay for highways. It doesn't renovate airports. Yet it receives billions through broadcasting rights, sponsorships, licensing, ticketing, and hospitality. Every World Cup strengthens one of the most successful business models in sports. Football is the product, attention is the currency, and billions of viewers become the customers. Think about it. Every time you watch a match, someone has already paid billions for that screen time. Companies aren't spending that money because they love football. They're buying your attention, your eyes, your time, because attention has become one of the most valuable resources in the modern economy. And the World Cup captures more attention than almost anything else on Earth. That's why brands compete so fiercely to be part of it. A few seconds on your television during the World Cup can be worth millions, not because of the football, because of the audience. And once you start looking at the tournament through that lens, everything begins to make more sense. The opening ceremony, the sponsorship logos, the exclusive broadcasting deals, even the bidding process to host the tournament, they're all pieces of the same business model. Football brings the crowd brings the money brings power, and power keeps the cycle going. Now, does that mean football doesn't matter? Of course not. Without the passion of billions of fans, none of this would exist. The players, the clubs, the rivalries, the unforgettable moments, they're all real. But they're also the engine powering something much larger, a global business built on emotion. That's what makes the World Cup so fascinating. It's both a sporting event and one of the largest commercial events on the planet. Two things can be true at the same time. You can love the game and still recognize the business behind it. Maybe that's the biggest lesson. The World Cup isn't just about football. It's about attention, influence, money, and the incredible value of getting billions of people to care about the same thing at the same time. Because once you understand that, you stop watching the World Cup as just a tournament. You start seeing one of the most powerful business machines ever created. And that's a game that's still being played long after the final whistle.